There has arguably never been so much anticipation, interest, hype and hope around a medical endeavour. In this unprecedented pandemic, there's unbelievable pressure on those in the race for a COVID-19 vaccine. This week, there was a bit of a hitch with what was considered a promising potential vaccine. AstraZeneca halted trials after one volunteer suffered spinal cord inflammation. But other recent developments provide reason for optimism, with some scientists and politicians suggesting a vaccine could be ready for public use much sooner than first thought. More than 900,000 people have already died. 28 million have been infected. So just how close are we to a breakthrough, to someone crossing the line in this race for a vaccine? Inside these labs, some of the world's smartest minds are attempting to crack the code to find a way to kill off a global killer.
This is an entirely new ballpark. COVID-19 is the first coronavirus that's caused a major global pandemic of this nature.
Around 150 projects in more than a dozen nations are working on a COVID-19 vaccine. The process is as challenging as the product is coveted. This is SARS-CoV-2, the virus which causes the disease COVID-19. It's a coronavirus, the same genetic family as the common cold. Coronaviruses spread easily, are prone to mutate and are difficult to guard against.
It is tricky because we haven't developed a vaccine for a coronavirus before.
26 vaccine candidates are at the human trial stage. Laboratories in the US, China and UK are leading the way.
We are in the clinic and we're moving as fast as we can, but with caution, because obviously there's no point in developing a vaccine that doesn't work or that has side effects that people won't tolerate.
Australia also has a number of vaccine candidates, including one developed by the University of Queensland. Some teams are preferring a one-dose solution, a vaccine which won't require yearly boosters. They're also using new techniques like RNA delivery.
A molecule in the cell that transcribes genetic information from the DNA in the nucleus to the machinery in the cell that produces proteins. We haven't had vaccines that have been manufactured and rolled out for infectious diseases using this particular kind of technology before.
But the race for a vaccine has seen some stumbles. AstraZeneca paused its trials this week after one of the participants suffered spinal cord inflammation, which may or may not have been connected to the potential vaccine.
So this ought to be reassuring to everybody listening when we say we are going to focus first on safety and make no compromises. Here is Exhibit A.
Jack Summers is part of the trial.
I'm not deterred at all. I think it's really important that people volunteer for this sort of stuff, and I trust the scientists completely that this is the risk to the participants is about as low as it could conceivably be, and this latest news doesn't change that at all for me.
There is a concern safety will be sacrificed amid the incredible demand for a vaccine, that potential long-term side effects may not be investigated.
Just because we talk about speed and scale, it doesn't mean that we start compromising.
The Russian government approved a vaccine that hadn't been through phase 3 clinical trials. It's planning to send it to multiple nations. And scientists are facing political pressure to pick up the pace.
We'll produce a vaccine before the end of the year, or maybe even sooner. It's got to be done in a very short period of time. Could even have it during the month of October.
I think that's highly unlikely. It is conceivably possible that there may be an announcement that a vaccine is showing efficacy, but that's not quite the same as a vaccine being available and rolled out into the wider community.
Our government struck up a deal with AstraZeneca and CSL for 85 million vaccine doses if and when they're successfully developed. The PM predicts the first batches will be ready by January, as scientists call for international coordination to ensure those in less developed and worse affected nations also have access to vaccines.
This is a time when countries need to come together and support a coordinated global effort, and it can't be a race to the bottom, every country for themselves.
It's been a long and challenging race for a vaccine. More than 9 months since the pandemic began, the world still waits for a winner, and enthusiastically barracks for anyone to cross the line.